Thanks very much. Very interesting. Sean, you have a question?
Thanks, Chair, and thanks to Adele for the presentation. You talked about the kind of unscrupulous employers who take advantage of undocumented workers and undocumented migrants. I had one or two cases that came to me of people who had come into the country from the UK, indirectly, and they weren't allowed to work here because they were staying with some family relative. But I believe that there are people who are undocumented here. You see the people who are selling newspapers at traffic junctions, standing on the road selling the paper, or people who may be selling the free news sheets in the morning at the tar stations. Have you had any experience of undocumented migrants being employed in that sector?
Our experience of particularly the newspaper industry and selling newspapers have been, we've had some experience in that area over the years. It's not really, it hasn't been really in the area of issue of being undocumented. It's been more about being exploited. A lot of the people who are selling newspapers in those situations are actually European citizens and have the right to free mobility and residence in Ireland, but there's an exploitation issue. I mean, I think the House might be interested to. I remember a particular case I dealt with a number of years ago of a young woman who was undocumented, who was actually cleaning the. Involved in cleaning Dáil Éireann every day, it just really, I suppose, brought home, the fact that actually people who are undocumented are integrated into our lives, into our families, into our communities, into our workplaces, and are not in some ways separate. They're actually integrated, and that this proposal is about recognising that reality, that you've got children who actually the only home they've ever had. Is Ireland. I mean, we've got. I've got a statement here from Shampika, who's in the audience, or the gallery here today, who was, in terms of her experience of being undocumented in Ireland, and she talks about her daughter, who is now 18, who has spent the last 10 years in the Irish education system and is completely integrated. Is one of the top 5% talented young people of the country. In fact, actually, we just heard has got a Goshka President's Award. So we're dealing with young people and older people who. There's one person I know we're dealing with who's actually fluent in Irish, who's undocumented. So yes, there are issues in relation to exploitation, but actually, it's more likely that people are just getting on with their lives and living and working and paying tax and PRSI and making a contribution, but actually aren't formally recognised in the system.